Vavai Tejasvinavaditamastu Vishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Chapter 4, verses 6 to 15. Achopi sannavyayatma bhutanamishvaropi san prakritim svamadhisthaya sambhavam-yatma-mayaya yada yada hi dharmasya glanir-bhavati bharata abhyutthanam-adharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham paritrāṇāya sadhūnām vināṣāya ca duṣkritāṃ dharma samsthāpanāthāya sambhavāmi yuge yuge janma karma ca me drevyam evam yo vetti tattvataḥ tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti māveti sojuna vitarāgabhayakrodhāha manmaya māmupāśritāha bahavo jnānatapasā pūtā madbhāvamāgatāha ye yatha māṁ prabhadyante tān tathaiva bhajāmyaham mama vatmanuvartante manushya partha sarvashaha kamshantat karmanam siddhim yajanta iha devataha kshipram himanushe loke siddhe bhavati karmaja chaturvarnyam maya srishtam गुणकर्म विभागशः तस्य कर्तारमपि मां विद्यकर्तारमव्ययम् न मां कर्माणि लिम्पन्ति न मे कर्मफले स्पृहा इति मां योऽभिजानाति कर्मभिर्न सपद्यते एवं ज्ञात्वा कृतं कर्म पूर्वैरपि मुमुक्षुभिः कुरु कर्मैव तस्मात्मं पूर्वतरं कृतम्.
The question. The first question. Can we take the 10 avatars of Vishnu as yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata, whenever righteousness goes down and whenever adharma comes up and righteousness goes down, I come back again and again. Can that be what the various avatars of the God is? That is the question. Purely from answer. Purely from a devotional angle. If you look at it from a purely and devotional angle and a tradition, if you look at it from the devotional angle and tradition, all avatars of all these kind of stories indicate a common purpose. The common purpose is establishing Dharma. In that sense you can say they are in that sense you can say this verse is what they are also meaning. There you just have to, whenever we say devotional angle, what you need to understand is, whenever we talk about a devotional angle or a tradition, you have no right to question. Either you take it or you don't. You don't question. The moment question comes in, that very angle itself becomes redundant. The moment question comes in, that very angle itself becomes redundant. That is why you can never question a devotional angle. As long as you decide not to reason, it works. The moment you start reasoning, now you can't stop. When you start reasoning, you cannot stop at a point that is convenient to you. You need to go. If you start reasoning, you need to go. You need to go till the end. Now you can't stop at a point that is convenient. Now most of the time these devotional people does the mistake is they reason up to an angle that is convenient to them, and they stop, which is against the very reasoning itself. You follow? When you reason, you go right till the end, or you can choose not to reason. You can choose not to reason. That is all right. When you say that is all right, mean it is that person's freedom. You follow? In devotional angle, there cannot be question. There cannot be a reasoning. For reasoning is entirely dependent upon the capacity of your buddhi. Better than not questioning at all is that. One is not to question. Second is you reason, but your reasoning will be entirely dependent upon the capacity of your buddhi. When I say capacity of your buddhi, what it means is this. When it is said you have to do, just take an example. This mango that I am holding in front of your hands, the variety is known as Imam Pasand. Are you hearing me?
Yes, sir.
What am I saying? What am I saying? Huh? What am I saying? The Imam Pasand mango that I am holding on my right hand. Mentally, I always think like that. If somebody makes a statement like that, what would you do for the rest of the class? What would you do? You will not know whether to continue to listen or not. Why? Why you will have a doubt? You will have a doubt, no. Will you come and prostrate to me? You will have a doubt, no. Why? Why you will have a doubt? You know that it is. You know that it is not a mango. You know that it is a mobile phone, but still that man sitting there is saying this. One is to reject. One is to reject what I am saying. Another is to accept. One is to reject. Another is to accept. A devotional bent will accept, because அவர் சொன்னா அது கரெக்டாக தான் இருக்கும். Even though your buddhi will say, even though your eyes will say this is not a, even though your eyes will say this is not a mango, even though your buddhi will say this is not a mango, but the emotion says he has said it, no, therefore it has to be correct only. And you will also go back to the Samsung store after the class and ask for Imam Pasand the mango. This is devotional. This is devotional angle. It's not ridiculing the devotional angle, please. It is foolishness. Those who are inferior will feel they are ridiculed. You follow? Those who already have a sense of inferiority complex are the one who feels they are ridiculed. It is just an explanation. What is it? In a devotional angle, you need to accept. You can never come up with the reasoning to support that this is mango. That's what people do. You can never come up with the reason to support that this is a mango. Can you do that? Or you can do that. But it is, what is it called? That's what people do. They come up with he has said it, and now come up with some reasoning, some logic, somehow to prove that it is a mango. You follow? This is the logical fallacy of the devotional angle. It's not a wrong. You need to accept it. You choose to accept. That is yours. You choose to accept. That's your freedom. But nevertheless, the devotional angle is such that there is no reasoning involved. For the moment reasoning comes, what comes first? The moment reasoning comes, questioning comes first. I am seeing this as a phone. Everybody else is seeing this as a phone. Obviously, your eyes also must be seeing this as a phone. When a phone call comes, you also. But how are you saying this as a mango? You follow what I am saying? The moment questioning comes in, reasoning comes in, you need to go right till the end. You may come to the same conclusion after reasoning, but the process. You may come to the same conclusion. The process is very, very important. Now, these Puranic stories about the 10 avatars of Vishnu. Okay, 10 avatars of Vishnu. Then what about the avatars of Shiva? What about the Leelas of Shiva? Then what about the Leelas of Kartikeya? Then what about the Leela? Now where do you stop? You cannot stop at that which suits you. You follow? You cannot stop at that which suits you. But there is a common purpose. In all these stories, there is a common purpose. What is the common purpose? What is the common purpose? Dharma gets established. Number 2, Dharma gets established by somebody higher. That's what they are implying. Dharma gets established not by you, by somebody higher. Now that higher you can call it as a law, that higher you can call it as a God, that higher you can call whatever name you want to give, you can give. But one thing in common is the higher is established by the Dharma is always established by something higher. It's called Avatara because the higher is always very rare, no? It's always very, very rare. So, you can say all the avatars of Vishnu establishes the same principle. In a story form. In a story form. In the infancy, story looks real. When you are an infant, stories appear real. I actually thought at one point of time phantom exists. I don't know how many of you remember that comic, The Ghost Who Walks. Ippo kuda I read that. The Ghost Who Walks. With the skull ring. Phantom 1, Phantom 2, Phantom 3, Phantom 4, up to Phantom 47. Ippo evlo irukkararnu therilla. You follow? All will look the same. All phantom will look the same. Having grown up, when there is a problem, I will not hope that phantom is going to come and save. I can think like that. I may believe in it and it may give me some solace. Please understand. I can still believe in it and it can still give me some solace. But the reality is phantom doesn't exist. Here. Ippolla phantom கிடையாது. Ippo it's not phantom anymore. After phantom came He-Man. After He-Man came Superman, Spider-Man. Why only Superman? Why can't there be a super woman? So there came a super woman. Adallam kuda old. Marvel. The end game. When you are a child, you believe in that, and that gives you a solace, and that gives you a strength. Two things. It gives you a solace and it gives you a strength. If that can give you solace and strength, why not stick to that only? Why not just Why not stick to that? Why not keep that only? You cannot do that because nature will not allow you to be a child forever. Nature will wake you up to the higher plane. When nature wakes you up to the higher plane, you necessarily have to start questioning, reasoning, and grow up and grow. But this is not wrong. You can still equate it. But you don't have to restrict it only to the avatars of Vishnu. For you can equate it to all gods. You follow? All gods of all religions also you can put. Why only one? Then only you get into problems. If you start restricting, and devotion will necessarily restrict. Devotion can never be all encompassing. Devotion always restricts. It can never be a universal, as in Allah will never come in the dream of devotee of Rama. If Allah comes, what will happen? He will commit suicide. He will think he has done a sacrilegious act and he will commit suicide. Now, if he says both can come, it doesn't make any sense, because he started to reason, and when you start reasoning, you cannot stop it at a point that suits you. You need to go till the end. You follow? This is answering the first question. Does avatars of Vishnu also come under this? Yada yada hi dharmasya? Yes, it does. It does come under the same verse as in devotion. Stories is a concept. Stories are concepts elaborated. Just as movies are one-liners. Just as movies are one-liners elaborated. In elaboration, chances of you getting lost is more. Whenever elaboration happens, chances of you getting lost is more, because you will start thinking about all the unnecessary things. In the Mahapralaya, the earth was submerged in the Mahapralaya, the earth got submerged in the ocean and the Avatara. What is that Avatara? What is Avatara? That Varaha. The Varaha went in and brought the world out. So far so good. It's not wrong. You cannot ask, ocean is part of you cannot ask, ocean is part of the earth only, and he is also inside the earth. No, you cannot ask. You cannot ask all this. If you start asking all this, you have missed If you start asking all this, what will happen? Devotion goes out. The story will appear. Correct. Fantasy becomes. fallacious it is. Fantasy it is. You follow? It goes into the ocean. Mahapralaya. Where is earth? And he also brings the earth out. And you would have seen pictures, no? Varaha bringing the earth out. And it will, what he will have, the globe he will have, and he is bringing it. So you need to accept all the conditions in it. What? Pralaya can happen. At least I believed in all that. Pralaya can happen. It can submerge the earth. He can go inside and bring it out. Take it on the face. Take it on the face value. It helps. For they are explaining a concept. In that sense, this verse is said as a story there. I am not talking about the story per se. Whether the story is right or wrong, I really don't know. Anything that is based on a story like this, you have to just either you understand the symbolic meaning and leave it at that. That possible. Either you understand the symbolic meaning, that is separate, or you take it as real and be with it. If you are going to take it as real, don't commit the fallacy of questioning it. If you question it, it will be as absurd as somebody from this classroom coming out with logic and reason to conclude how this is a mango. Is it a mango? You follow? Therefore, whether it actually is real or not, leave it. Seriya? Don't restrict it to only one God. You can equate it to all gods. For the purpose of everybody is the same. Establish whenever unrighteousness takes over, wise men appear. This is the first question. And then there is another question. Rendu question mein Shankar tha. The second question is, what are treacherous practices that a human being does? Adharma. What he is asking is, what is the adharma that a human being does? Treacherous practices. Three kinds of action is done. Mano, Vak, Kaya. Actions is of three. Body, which is Kaya, Vak, that is the word. The third is the mind. That's why it's called Manasam, Vachikam, Kayakam, Karma. Actions are done by this. Karma is performed by these three. So, treacherous practices are done through these three. First, write as the body. Then, write it as speech, the vak. Then the mind. First is the body, second is the speech, third is the mind. For treacherous practices are action. Treacherous practices are actions. And actions are performed by, actions are done through these three. So what they did, the Smriti text goes into an elaborate explanation of the treacherous practices done by these three. Briefly I will touch on the list. But don't take that list as complete. More example we can give one or two. Are you okay till now, Shankar? Yes.
Yes, treacherous practices to one's own self.
Yes. Correct. One's own self. Treachery. Treacherous. Treacherous practices. Treachery என்ன? நம்பிக்கை துரோகமா? டிக்ஷனரி எல்லாம் பார்த்துட்டு வந்துட்டாரு அவர். கரெக்டா சொல்றாரு. என்ன டிக்ஷனரி பார்த்துட்டு வந்துட்டாரு. Treachery practices. Treacherous. Correct. Treachery means that which is against the established. Treachery means that which is against the truth. Treachery means that which is against Dharma. That's what treachery is. And all this is done for one's own self only. Never you can do it for you can never do it for anybody. You may assume you are doing it, and the other person also becomes a victim because of what? Because of his self-centeredness, his treachery. So when two treacherous individuals have a relationship, what will happen? So we are not talking about what you do to other. It is always about what you do to yourself. But impossible to understand this, for we are concerned about what we are doing to the other. You can never do anything to the other. You can do only to yourself. You can never do anything to the other. If something seems to be happening to the other, it means the other is the other also is in the same level as you. So there is interaction going on. So in the true sense, whenever we talk about treacherous practices, it is always about what you do to yourself. And how you do karma? It's a karma, action. And this karma is done through manasam, vachikam, kaya. Meaning, the thought, the word, and the deed, action, the actual. That which is performed by the body. I defined treachery as that which brings harm. Treachery means that which brings harm to you. Backstabbing, Nambika Drogam, backstabbing. French stabbing is okay, well, stabbing is stabbing, whether stabbed in the front or in the back, what difference does it make? Movie, unreal stuff this is. What is treachery? Kuttuna kuda inga sir kutram. Now what difference? You are willing to get stabbed. What difference does it? All this is very nice to talk and hear. Has no reality to it. So what is treacherous practices? At the level of the thought. Then what is treachery at the level of the mind? Then what is it at the level of the action? First I will come from the thought. What is treacherous practices at the level of the thought? Intention to harm. Intention to harm. Assuming that you have the right intention already. These are all treacherous practices at the level of the thought. First is you intend harming. Second is, worse than that, is you assume that you are not capable of such intentions at all. That's treachery. That's the worst cut you can do to oneself. This will manifest in everybody according to their guna and kama. This will manifest in everybody according to their guna and desires. The guna and the desires. At the level of the word, yes. Assuming that you are not capable of having wrong intentions at all, other than treachery. That is the treachery. Whenever you think that your intentions are pure, noble, you can take it as a thumb rule that it is exactly the opposite. For the proof of nobility, the proof of noble intention is what? The proof of noble intention is detachment. The proof of nobility is always detachment. A proof of nobility, I will be a very peaceful person, no sir. Million ways to find peace. There is only one way to find detachment. You follow? The acid test. So whenever you think your intentions are pure, as a thumb rule you can take it. What? It is exactly the opposite and you are not yet aware of it. Then you become alert. Then you will go through the process of becoming. Aware and you can stop. Otherwise, you assume that it is already noble. You follow? Talk to anybody individually. talk to anybody individually, they will say their intentions are always, not a person has said, my intention is to really, opposite of treachery, you can say honesty. I want to irritate people, sir. I want to cause harm to them and relish that, you will become alert. You will become alert and you will stop. A person who is of causing himsa, not even aware that he is causing himsa. Now what to do? From where does this deep-rooted notion come from? Comes from that self-assumption that as I am incapable of having wrong intentions. எது பண்ணாலும் சார் அதுல ஒரு நல்லது இருக்கும் சார், நியாயம் இருக்கும், வெல்ஃபேர் ஆஃப் அதர் இருக்கும். அது அவங்களுக்கு புரிய மாட்டேன்றது, அவ்வளவுதான். My God, Shankaracharya has to prostrate to you for your he has to come and prostrate to you. But the truth is exactly the opposite. This is what happens at the level of the thought. How does it manifest at the level of the word? Are you okay, Shankar?
Yes, sir.
Sauda Sutta. Dirgama. Very good. At the level of the word, I have said this any number of times. Even when we speak the truth, the intention is to harm the other by speaking the truth. Not that we are really concerned about the truth Allah. Most of the time it is like that. Like the children speaking the truth when they are. Children speaks the truth when? When? When does the child speak the truth? During the period of innocence. அது இல்லவே இல்லை. When does the child speak the truth? The child speaks the truth either when it is caught, when it knows that it is caught, or when it wants to expose somebody else. Correct. They speak the truth only to expose, not that they are really interested in Dharma Allah. If they are really interested in Dharma, the truth and all, they will understand and they will just keep quiet. Happy and blessed are when wickedness stands forth revealed as goodness bereft of a guide. That vega to expose, in people, that vega to expose is for what? The vega to speak the truth is only to expose the other. And then they say, they talk, the children. At least I have done that a lot. You follow? Speech. When we speak, unmindful of the harm that is done to the other. If you carefully follow, other சொல்லினே இருக்கிறோம். Because of the otherness you do all that. Because of the otherness you do that. Same mistake yesterday, very unique, different, weird situations. So weird, in which how one hurts the other. And in that hurt there is a relish, there is a satisfaction. Word. The last one is action. What does one do through action? What are the treacherous practices done at the level of the action? Harming the other. What is the treacherous practice done at the level of the action?
Even harming oneself to give pain to the other.
Give pain to the other. That is one part, very correct. You harm yourself so that others get. You harm yourself so that when you harm yourself, the other also gets or more pain. There is something at a concept level, variations are many. The variations are many. I am not going into the variations. The variations are many. There is something that is common at the level of the action. What is the treacherous practice at the level of the action? Stopping others. The treacherous practice at the level of the action. Doership attitude. That is Ramana Maharshi Madri. Answer. Hypocrisy at the level of treacherous practice at the level of the action is exploiting the ignorance of the other for your exploiting the ignorance of the other for your benefit. Take this and analyze for yourself. Take these as a definitions and analyze for yourself. For all this is adharma. All this put together is what is known as adharma. You follow? Action performed exploiting the ignorance of the other for one's own gain. That is the treacherous action. Whenever you perform such an action, the result of such action, the fruit of such action is going to bounce back and hurt you. That other, we are not discussing what is happening to the other person. You follow? Action always can be understood only in relation to the other. You can never understand action to your own self. That's why we have to talk in relation to the other. For action is always in relation to the other only. For action it's duality. You follow? So, you do an action exploiting the ignorance of the other for your benefit. When you do such action, the result bounces back. We understand people are doing all this only when they come back and complain about the mental pain, the stress, the agony, the suffering. You know, this is what they have been, this is what they have done, as a result of which they are experiencing this. The experience of pain and misery and sorrow indicates that we have been doing treacherous practices. The experience of detachment, Sakshi Bhava, is an indication that you are performing the right actions. These are the broad indicators. You follow? List is many. Now, individually, the list for you will not be the list for the other. Class unga list ungalta kodukra. After the class, I said I will give you your private list will come to you. There is no common list at all. You follow? Still there are certain sadharana dharmas, they say. Don't cheat. All this is so nice to hear. But in reality, it makes no sense. Profit you can make, sir, but cheating you should not do. Reconcile these two. Profit is okay, cheating is not okay. Reconcile these two. You will know. For one cannot be done without the other. It means exploiting the ignorance. Oh, does it mean give it for free again? It's a complex network. You follow? That's why you can't just take it as an action and try and avoid that action. Just reconcile profit and cheating. Profit is alright as long as I am paying the taxes. Profit is alright. For cheating, I will not. I am not saying all those who are working for profits are cheaters, sir. If you take that as a standard, everybody in the world becomes cheaters only. That is absurd. That's not what I am saying. That's not what the knowledge is saying. It is not as simple as in saying A, B, C as a list. It's not as simple as that. There is something much, much deeper in it. What is it? In action, treachery is exploiting the a patient goes to the doctor. Now he can be, I am not saying he has to be a free doctor. Now if he is a free, now where will he go? Where will that come from? Where will everything come from? You follow? Then where does treachery come in? Where does it come in? We really don't know where to draw we really do not know where to draw the line. Instead of confusing it, complicating it like this, what the Smriti texts do, they give a text, they give a list of actions. The words must be priyam and hitam. The words that you use must be Must be Priyam, must be Hitam. But I am a very straightforward person, sir. I don't mince. I don't mince words. I call spade as spade only. What a honesty, eh? You follow? The word Satyam, Priyam, Hitam. Word, you speak the truth, Priyam and Hitam. Hitam means it has to sit. It has to sit. Hitam. 24. Hitam this is. 18. 18 na? 18 போட்டு fan எல்லாம் போட்டு விட்டா what happens? Shivering. Switch it off and shut the doors. 10th minute. So hitam is that which gives a comfort. The words must be of the truth. It has to be Priyam and Hitam. You can do that only when the otherness is not there. All this can come only when the otherness is not there. That Priyam, that Hitam and all that goes away because of the otherness. You follow? That is as far as the Sadharana Dharma for this word. For action, what is it that is for action? For action, first is Dhanam. For action, first is Dhanam. In action, am I giving or am I taking? So make sure that your giving is more than take. Make sure that your giving is more than you take. Exactly opposite of that is taking only and no giving at all. முதல்ல நமக்கு வேணுங்கிறத வச்சுட்டு அப்புறமா ஆத்துல போட்டாலும் அளந்துதான் போடணுமா? You have your own stories for everything. You have your own logic for everything. You know, for action, Dhanam. If you grow into higher dimensions, Yajnam. One is Dhanam, the higher is Yajna. You follow? So at every level you can make sure that you are giving more. இப்போ தானம் கிவிங்லாம் சொல்லி தானம் யஜ்ஞம்லாம் சொல்லி பிரயோஜனமே இல்லை. Because it has gone very differently. So you have to say, at least don't bargain. Instead of talking about dhanam and all that, we come to the level of, from a different level, we say at least don't bargain, at least don't ask for discount. Yeah. Ask for free, that is okay. At least don't ask for discount. This is what the practice is at the level of the action. At the level of thought, don't worry. That is at the level of thought is entirely dependent upon how much of knowledge you have understood, how much of knowledge you have. For nothing can be done at the level of thought. It takes a longer time to come to the level of thought and attend to. This action and word you can attend to. That is why use the word that is use the word that what the others want to use on you. You will want somebody to speak to you in a particular way. No. Try and speak that way. Minimum. No, I will speak whatever way I want, but the other has to speak gently. Yeah. You follow? These are all the various ways the Smriti textbooks talks about. What are all the treacherous practices done which has to be avoided? In what all way adharma is done and how it has to be avoided. You follow? Yes. Huh? Yajna means sacrifice. Yes. Yajna means sacrifice. Dhanam is giving, but giving always in, when you give everything, you don't call it as giving, you call it as sacrifice. It's also giving, but then that's why I said when you grow to a higher level, it becomes yajna. Obligatory action. Seriya? Okay. Verse number 8.
Paritrāṇāya sādhūnāṁ vināṣāya ca duṣkritāṁ dharma samsthāpanāthāya sambhavāmi yuge yuge. Paritrāṇāya sādhūnāṁ vināṣāya ca duṣkritāṁ dharma samsthāpanāthāya sambhavāmi yuge yuge.
For the protection of the virtuous, for the destruction of the wicked, and for the establishment of Dharma, I am born from age to age. Continues the same thought from the previous verse. The sadhunam paritranaya, protecting the sadhus, virtuous. First thing is to protect the virtuous. Why does virtuous need protection? If virtuous needs protection, then there is no meaning. No. Virtuous are those who stand by that virtuosity. They don't need, and still he says paritranaya sadhunam dushkritam vinashaya, destroying the dushkriti, those who do. Sadhus are the ones who does right action. Dushkriti, wicked are those who does wrong action. Then comes dharma samsthapanarthaya, establishment of righteousness. So 3 distinct jobs I am doing, Arjuna, again and again. First one, what is it? Protection of the virtues, the sadhus. Sadhu means sadhus, na? The virtuous ones. The protection of the one who is attempting to become virtuous. They are struggling to become virtuous. In that struggle, they need protection. I come and do that. The Vedic aphorism is Dharmo Rakshati Rakshitaha. Those who protect Dharma are protected by Dharma. There is no need for somebody to come and protect the. There is no need for somebody to come and protect the virtues. And still he says very categorically that I come to protect the virtuous. What does it mean? One category are making an effort to become virtuous. In that effort to become virtuous, they need protection. What is the protection they need? What is the protection they need? They slip. They slip. In that path of trying to become virtuous, they keep slipping. I come and protect them from what? From going down, from falling down. I come and protect. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya dushkritam. Dushkrita means wickedness, wicked actions. Wickedness is the wrong. Wickedness is the wrong actions. Whatever the wrong actions mean. I make sure that they reap the. I make sure that they reap the. They reap the benefits of their of the dushta karma, asda dushkriti. The dushta karma. Whatever that dushta karma they do, I make sure that they pay the price. For I am that impartial lawmaker, I am that impartial law. One is to make the law. Second is enforce it. I am that impartial lawmaker and I am that impartial enforcement also. Partiality, no? There is no partiality here. By doing these two, I establish Dharma, righteousness. By doing these two, what is the two? Protect the. That's why he is called Karma Pala Dasa. Because he makes sure that I ensure that it will. I ensure that what you sow, you reap. You can take it as a law speaking, or you can take it as the Ishvara, the Lord, the Karma Pala Data speaking. It doesn't matter who speaks, you will change. That's all. The idea is not about who is speaking. Is it law or God? It doesn't matter whether it is law or God, but you change. And you make an attempt to change. A sadhu is one, the virtuous is one, not established in virtuosity. They are trying to become virtuous. In that path to becoming virtuous, they slip. They slip. And they have to be protected. They have to be protected. They slip. How do they slip? How does anybody slip? Their own temptations. Their own temptations. Situations in life challenges. Situations in life challenges your. Situations in life challenges your convictions. Situations in life challenges your convictions. Second is temptations. Virtue is one. The person who wants to become virtuous is one who is trying not to be a victim of these two. A person who is wanting to practice virtuosity is one who doesn't want to be a victim of these two. And they need somebody to come and they need somebody to come and lift them up, inspire them. I stand there inspiring the sadhus. In that sense he is protecting. Protecting doesn't mean you fall, I will take care. That is not the protection. Protection is what? The presence of him is inspiring, and that gives you that extra momentum, that extra push to do. You follow? In that sense it is protecting the sadhu. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam. Vinasha, not ordinary loss. Vinasha it is. One is nasha, another is, here he is not saying nasha, he is saying vinashaya cha dushkritam. They will be, vinasha means annihilated. They will be, I ensure that they are wicked, corrupt people are all happy, thriving. நல்லதா இருந்தாலும் சாதுவெல்லாம் இருந்தா இப்போ பழைக்க முடியாது. விநாசாய ச துஷ்கிருதாம். That dushta karma that you do itself will destroy you, and I ensure that law, and I ensure that it is enforced. எவ்வளவு exemption கேட்டாலும் by paying the price, that is vinashaya cha dushkrita. Then the third, dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Again and again and again these great masters come for what? They come for what? Selfishness is the right way of living. It keeps coming back again and again and again. These great masters come and say, every now and then adharma dominates. What is the domination of adharma? The domination of adharma is selfishness is the right way of. இதெல்லாம் வேலைக்காவா சார்? பிராக்டிகலி ஸ்பீக்கிங் அப்படின்னா அதர்மான்னு அர்த்தம். பிராக்டிகலி ஸ்பீக்கிங்னாலே அதர்மா தான். ஃபார் செல்ஃபிஷ்னஸ் இஸ் த ரைட் வே ஆஃப் லிவிங். ஆத்துல போட்டாலும் அலந்தம் இதெல்லாம் Vedanta only has said no sir, you should whoever you give, you have to give தேசம் காலம் பாத்திரம்லாம் சொல்லி தான் கொடுக்கணும். So we have to give, we have, so இதெல்லாம் பார்த்தா nobody is worthy of receiving. My God, you follow? These are all the various ways in which adharma functions. Adharma doesn't mean stealing, terrorism, raping. All this is not. All these are. Don't take these superficial things to be adharma. What is it that is driving these actions? Selfishness is the right way of living. Selfishness is the intelligent way of living. முதல்ல நம்மளை பார்த்துக்கணும் சார், அப்புறம் தான். I am there to help others sir, but when I am in need, nobody comes. Therefore I have to take. These are all the various ways in which correct Shankar, adharma ಇದೆಲ್ಲ treacherous practices. ಇದೆಲ್ಲ wrong treacherous practices all these are. So whenever this becomes predominant, great masters come and set the balance. How they set the balance? By saying, when you are selfish, become unselfish. Where you are unselfish, turn selfless. Keep going. Keep going. This is how they establish the Dharma. You follow? Virtuous needs protection, just as the sapling needs protection. It's not yet become the roots are not yet established, meaning the convictions are not strong till the roots get strengthened. It needs protection. You fence it and you give it a support. After a while, what do? You remove the fence, remove the support, for it can stand by itself. At that time it doesn't need any protection. So what he means by protecting the virtuous is saying the fence, as the fence. But the fence itself is so comfortable, the sapling remains a sapling forever. You are thankful to the fence and you outgrow the fence. That is Dharma. You are thankful to the fence, but you have to outgrow. Just as the children are the sapling, parents are the fence. For how long? Or till I die, or till they die. Till some point, some protection is required. But the idea is everybody has to find their own convictions. Why? Your actions follow your convictions. Your actions follow or what you act is what your convictions are. What you act is what your convictions are. That is, trying to develop the conviction is the sadhu. And he needs protection. Protection from what? There is an internal temptation and there is an external disturbances and there is an internal temptation. So what they do, they bring in some rules, some regulations, something. That's how the sadhu is protected. What about the others who are doing? If you are not doing the virtuous action, if you are not trying to become virtuous, if you are not doing any of those actions, what kind of actions you are doing? You become a dushkritinaha. Dushkritinaha means wicked. Dushkritinaha means one who is doing dushta karma. Dushta karma means selfish actions. Selfish actions through thought, word and deed. He makes sure that the law is enforced. Government மாதிரி ஜூலை 31 ஆகஸ்ட் 31 எக்ஸ்டென்ஸ் எல்லாம் கிடையாது. 2 வருஷத்துக்கு யூ ஆர், அதெல்லாம் எதுவும் கிடையாது. யூ பே த, இன் தட் வே ஹி இஸ் an impartial law enforcer. So an impartial law enforced. That is how he vinashaya cha dushkrita. The third is dharma samsthapanarthaya, for establishing that dharma. What is that establishing that dharma means collectively? He goes on, they go on saying what? Adharma has come up. What is adharma? No? Selfishness and self-centeredness has come up. Adharma. Don't fall a victim to that. Attachment. Everything there is an attachment. Don't get. These are all adharmas. What are the root of adharmas? These are all the root of adharmas. Ajnanam. At the level of intellect, you take the ignorance to be knowledge. Ajnanam is seen as jnanam. So he says, no, it is ignorance. When all this is done, who does all these three? Sambhavami yuge yuge. I do it again and again. I means the great masters, the great souls. One thing is very clear. Somebody higher does it. Something higher, somebody higher does it. I am that higher Arjuna telling you that get into this yuddha and I am telling you get into this yuddha and fight and kill. For this is what Dharma is. This is what Dharma is. You have become adharmic now by running away from this. You are becoming adharmic. Now I have to establish. How do I establish? Somehow confusing you to somehow talk something, confuse or brainwash or threaten, but nevertheless make you do that which you ought to do. And how they make you do that which you ought to do? That is how they are establishing that dharma. Not by threatening, not by forcing, not by brainwashing. They make you do that which you ought to do by giving you the right knowledge and understanding. You can make a person do the right thing by fear, by threat, by tempting. Now, these are not the methods they do. They do that, they make you follow the dharma by knowledge and because your actions follow your convictions. Because your actions follow your convictions. So 700 verses to give that conviction. Opposite of that is to say, why don't you get up and fight? I will take care. You don't bother. Arjuna would have started immediately. But third day he would have ran away from the battlefield. He will not be there for the 18. This is how these great masters establish. Paritranaya sadhuna vinashaya cha dushkrita dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami. I come again and again for these three purposes. Three distinct actions. What are the three? Protect the sadhu, annihilate the wicked, establish dharma.